Well, hello everyone and everybody over the YouTube community. Hello everybody. I'm your humble host, Mike Mo, here for another vlog here on the 6th of June, 2019. Here for day entry 9:45, I believe it is. So hello everybody, welcome back. And so yeah, guys. Work was good today. It was just a very productive day, got a lot done. But I'm not here for that. I'm here for one thing in particular. So yeah, if you guys, for those of you who are into history, or those who know what happened on this day, it's probably been plastered all over the news, is it's the 75th anniversary of D-Day. For those of you who do not know, it is the day we actually, well, the Allied forces actually invaded Nazi-controlled Europe to try to wrest it away from the Nazi war machine. So, or from under the boot of the Nazi war machine, or the boot of Nazi control, as they would say. So yeah, this day, June 6, 1944, after months of planning, we finally hit the coasts of we hit the coast of Normandy and Western Europe to try to break inland to fight the Nazis and try to win the war, not only in the Pacific theater but also in the European theater. So, for those of you who don't know, we started our conquest with the Japanese in the early 1940s, and then eventually we then went to North Africa, and then eventually after that, we dealt with the North Africa conflict. So we booted the Nazis out of there. We went up to Europe, and we wanted to end the whole thing. So, from what I know, we invaded Omaha Beach. I know there was a couple other beaches. I remember one of the beaches was Omaha Beach, and I remember we lost quite a few significant lives there, because this was the start of the Great Crusade to end the Nazi influence in Europe. And we didn't know it then, but it would only take us less than a year to get it done, because even though we've been fighting the Japanese for earlier in the decade, we were finally ready to devote our resources to fighting the European conflict, because we knew what was going on, because the British were trying to because the British were in trouble. They were ready to help us invade. And I believe there were other countries. Canada helped us out. I know the Canadians helped us out. The Canadians helped us out. The French were definitely part of it, the French resistance. The Dutch resistance, because without the resistances, people would have been locked down in tyranny by the Nazi terror, which is everything. And it was the start of our discovery of just what the heck the Nazis were doing over in Europe. And we just thought they were just taking over countries. Then eventually, we eventually went to all the concentration camps, and where millions of Jews were sacrificed, unnecessarily sacrificed, and brutally murdered, shall I say, and everything. But D-Day was the start of all of that, because we kind of needed to show the world that we kind of needed to tell Hitler and the rest of the Axis powers that their way of thinking couldn't stand. So with the help of the newly angered Russians, who Hitler backstabbed, much to his mistake, because probably the biggest mistake he ever made was two big mistakes he ever made was telling the Japanese to attack us, and then eventually backstabbing the Soviets. And that was the start of the whole D-Day was the start of the whole thing that would start that. Now, I don't know any of the statistics, but I do know that many lives were lost in the conflict. I forget what the number is, but a lot of our boys went overseas, made sacrifices to make sure that we were victorious with our allies over in Britain and France, to make sure that we were victorious, and we ended the Nazi regime, and we ended the stranglehold they had, not only Europe but also the Jewish people, because of their Aryan race, blonde hair, blue eyes thing that they were so fond of course. So yeah, I do actually have one relative that actually served in World War II. My Uncle Bill served in the Pacific Theater. He was a construction battalion. He was a Seabee. He saw a lot of conflict, but he did survive, and he was able to come back home and tell the story. So, and my dad probably wouldn't have been probably wouldn't have been doing construction had it not been for that. So, and so yeah, my Uncle Bill is my grandfather's brother, by the way. My dad's father's brother. So yeah. So I'm gonna do. So as usual with one of these videos, usually I do about 30 seconds for some people, usually for a tribute. But because this is our country and what a great country we are, even though there are some problems in this country, I will not speak of them on the screen because I'm not trying to go political here. I'm going to give our men and boys and all those lives lost on the fateful day to get into Europe starting now. Yeah, I just thought I'd give them a long amount of silence. But yeah, this country made a lot of sacrifices between that and the Pacific Theater. I mean, for the whole scope of World War II. World War II was probably the Second Great War was horrific. There was a lot going on over there, and it was just a nasty thing. So, for those of you out there who serve currently or have served, my gratitude goes out to you for picking up a weapon, for picking up bearing arms for our country and going out into dangerous situations. Something a civilian like myself does not know anything about. Yes, I picked up firearms, but I've never been in a combat situation, so I wouldn't know. But for those veterans out there, current and active and not active, I tip my hat off to you for making that contribution to our country, and for those who have made the sacrifice over the years, especially in World War II, because without those sacrifices, we wouldn't have been able to fight the Nazi regime. We probably wouldn't have been able to end the horrific things that they were doing over there. And especially all the Jewish people who had to suffer because they were the cause of all of Germany's problems, which we all know was a big fat lie. It was just to end it was just to end it was just an unneeded sacrifice. It was just an unneeded death or genocide of a very traditional and very proud culture, by the way. Jewish people, I know a few people in the Jewish community, and they are proud people. It's just nasty what they did, and thoughts and prayers go out to the souls of, my thoughts go to the souls that lost their lives, and the millions that lost their lives in there, and also the Japanese people that unfortunately had to be sacrificed because we wanted to end the war, unfortunately. Because war is not pretty. Doesn't matter what side you're on, but war is not pretty. So yes, might come out here for another vlog in the Vlog Corner. You guys know the drill. Long live America, God bless America, long live democracy, long live the Second Amendment, and amen to my grandparents' spirits, amen to both of them, and amen, and pray the souls and of those who sacrificed their lives, for those who served in the country, and also pray for my friends Tom, Megan, and April with their successes. Thank you very much. I might come out here on the 75th anniversary of D-Day, here on June 6, 2019. Here for Day Entry 945. Peace out, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.